Hey guys, resident cringe meme lord Marco here to give my opinion again. I know, daring thing to do on the internet. In celebration of 25 million players as well as the launch of Year 4 Season 3, I wanted to talk about the future of For Honor, or at least what I think is going on. Now I shouldn't have to say this, but a few disclaimers. This title and video is not meant to suggest I think the future of the game is at risk or in question, but I'm also not someone with insider information. I know about as much as any of you do, so all I can do is speculate. I'm going to talk about quite a few things, so if you wanted to only hear about my casual opinion on balance, especially since the CCU update, rather than what I hope will happen on next-gen consoles, you can check the timestamps in the description or in the timeline below. One thing we know for sure, and I don't have to speculate about, is the launch of Project Orochi's newest collection. This video wouldn't be possible without the support of Project Orochi, who now has even more incredible designs. I know so many of you are worried about your cosmetics in-game, but you should also focus on your real-life gear too. If Aramusha can get new looks, then so can you. Winter is right around the corner, and staying warm while wearing some awesome designs has never been easier with free shipping in North America. I also feel I need to highlight that Project Orochi has finally released an Orochi-inspired design, as well as some more inspired by the rest of For Honor's colorful cast. I may be a knight at heart, and I do love their warden design, but damn, I think the Warlord shirt just might be my favorite from this season. Using the promo code VIABLEPK at checkout also nabs you 10% off your entire order, and you'll receive a free washable face mask on orders over $80. They've also let me know that since their last season, they've been hard at work improving the quality of their clothing as well as improving shipping times, so you can expect better quality and better time. You can follow them on Instagram at Project Orochi for more updates and other new releases. Thank you again, Project Orochi, for sponsoring this video. Honestly guys, they have been amazing with supporting my channel and ensuring that I can focus on continuing to bring you new videos. With that being said, let's take a look at what I think the future holds for Honor. Let's start by diving in on a topic that is simultaneously the least and most important thing in this game: cosmetics. In a year where we saw a global pandemic, plagues of locusts in Africa, Brexit, Australia catch fire, a gender reveal party also start fires in the States, murder hornets, and the death of the beloved mascot Mr. Peanut, no really, I still managed to be surprised by the addition of the 200 IQ meme and confused Travolta as an effect and emote respectively in For Honor. I think it's safe to say that we'll be seeing more of these goofy and less serious effects and cosmetics as time goes on. Now I know there's a crowd out there who abhor these kind of additions, be it because they're purists and it ruins my immersion, or they have nothing better to do on the internet than call anything they don't like cringe. But the devs wouldn't be implementing these into their game if players didn't ask for them or purchase them. This doesn't mean though I think we're exclusively seeing goofy content. But take it from someone who makes a living rehashing memes into montages. People eat this stuff up. Hey, I'm just glad that we can turn off effects if we don't like them. You unfortunately can't do a damn thing about this. We're seeing Aramusha get a new armor set this season, just like fellow Year 1 DLC hero Centurion did last season along with his rework. More on that later. This means at least another 4 seasons of that one guy on Twitter asking where the Year 1 DLC armor sets are. If I had to guess, everybody's second favorite Scotsman will be the next to sport a new look. Now there's a lot of speculation as to why the heroes from the Year 1 DLC are getting armor at a slower rate, whether it's because Ubi is drip feeding content to keep people coming back, or, you know, despite being made by a AAA studio, the game might not make as much money as other titles and thus receives a smaller budget. Honestly, I don't care because knowing the reason isn't gonna change how fast or how slow new things come out. In other news, we just got red armor. Now we just need blue armor so I can make a Shovel Knight video. Color palettes are no longer tied to attacker, defender, or neutral, so fashionistas have put down their pitchforks temporarily, probably until they resume demanding customizable color palettes. My guess, they're gonna be holding them up indefinitely. We still have another hero to come this year, and regardless of faction, we're probably gonna still see ornaments that aren't on the head. Most ornaments are just little forehead coins anyways, and in my opinion, all the new heroes we've gotten since the beginning of Year 3 have had more unique and varied headpieces because the designers haven't been constrained by making sure there's room for an ornament or that the ornament won't take away from the rest of what's going on their heads. Hey, maybe for the new Viking hero, the devs will be daring and we'll get chest ornaments like nipple piercings. Something I've seen talked about several times is how cool a Star Wars and For Honor mashup game would be. Seemingly, the dev team agrees. So, we have this cool and beloved bad guy, and they fight a rebellion comprised of soldiers from various backgrounds. Then, later on, there is a supreme edgelord who will finish what they started, and wear armor that, while is their own, is reminiscent of their idol. They too also fight a resistance. Oh wait, you mean you wanted For Honor gameplay with Star Wars characters, not Star Wars characters in the For Honor game. Jokes aside with that parallel there, many have speculated that we're moving to a two-sided faction war for quite some time and abandoning the Knights versus Vikings versus Samurai fighting each other for honor. If we were going to move to a cult versus resistance faction war, I feel like this season here would have been the perfect time for it to happen. And even the previous 2 seasons, we shouldn't have even had a faction war since it was technically a peacetime. The faction war will probably remain Knights versus Vikings versus Samurai featuring the Woolin who are just happy to be there, unless the end of year 4 causes another cataclysm, causing new lands and people to emerge. I think another reason we won't see everything shift to a two-sided faction war is because the cult is seen as the bad guys here. Literally the unplayable bad guys, by the way. Yeah, we can play as Warmonger, sure, but even in the current PvAI event, we're playing as the resistance fighting the cult. If the event was a PvP mode where you could actually choose which side you could play for, then I would believe that we're leading towards a cult versus rebellion, or whoever the factions end up being, faction war. I know there is that year 4 chess game poster where it ended up the first hand was Estrella's, so many assumed the other hero would also be a knight. I'm gonna shut down this theory by showing you it was just the Knight Breach Commander's Gauntlet. You know, the guy whose head's rolling in that one season pass emote. I think it's safe to say they aren't the new hero. I can't believe I'm even reading this, but because he's gone missing, some people have thought that Daubeny would return not only as the rebellion leader, but also as the new hero. Hervis Daubeny, the coward, as a leader, and a playable hero, when we can already cosplay him as Warden.
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
How could you tell?
If we were to follow the dev team's trends, I'd have to guess that the next hero will be a samurai. After all, the first 2 DLC heroes were a knight and a samurai, and even year 3 saw Human Shadow the Hedgehog followed by Asthmatic Shy Guy with an axe being released. And hey, even this year we had new Centurion armor and a rework alongside a new Knight hero release. Now, we're seeing Aramusha armor and honestly, hopefully a rework, so maybe we'll also get a new Samurai hero this year. Now I haven't touched Aramusha in ages, despite the footage you're going to see in a little bit, so I have 0 good suggestions or hopes if he does get reworked. Maybe it'll make his deadly feints actually deadly by allowing you to cancel them, or maybe you can feint heavies into a kick, giving him easier access to a bash. I don't know. But now let's discuss the new hero. Recently there was a leak that the new upcoming Woolin faction-wide execution involves a gun, so we know that guns are a thing in the For Honor universe. So what if the new hero wields a gun? Imagine an Ashigaru wielding a bayoneted musket. Come on, you can't tell me that wouldn't be at least a little funny to see. And I'm totally not just saying this because I'm busy playing AoE 3 in anticipation of the definitive edition next month. I'm saying this because, just like Warmonger, this hero wielding a gun should undoubtedly also have overpowered feats. Imagine all their feats are just lining up and taking a shot, and regardless if it's tier 1, 2, 3, or 4, it would just insta-kill regardless of your health. Speaking of Warmonger and how she was inspired by story mode boss Apollyon, what if this new samurai hero is inspired by General Tozan? I'm sure suggesting this is giving you PTSD for a multitude of reasons, whether it's because you've heard
"You are a raider, legendary"
one too many times, or you're worried about an Orochi 2.0. If we end up getting a reincarnated Daddy Tozan, hopefully they're a vanguard like Warmonger, all while utilizing some of the moves in the story mode people have asked for. We'll finally get that kick people have been begging for, albeit for Orochi. Armor that people have been begging for, also albeit for Orochi. And then there's that all block where he spins around his sword, which could be used mid-chain like Shellin's Chi Stance, and maybe even links into various different options from there, whether it's the kick, an undodgeable, an unblockable, basically just Shaolin, maybe with a standard guard and not reflex. I don't know, I'm thinking of all this on the spot with 0 consideration of balance, and more just thinking of what might be fun and differ from Orochi, whose identity revolves around just fast attacks and That's it. Moving on from zero consideration of balance to my opinion on balance, well, there's a lot to unpack here, seeing as I waited to see what changes they would make to the original core combat update, so bear with me. In regards to the changes of damage and stamina values, I think we've seen all the blanket nerfs and buffs across the board that affected all heroes' heavy, light attack damage and stamina costs, and we'll only see individual hero tweaks rather than full roster changes from now on. I'll be honest though, I still wouldn't mind if all damage numbers were a little bit lower so fights could last a tad longer and players would actually get a chance to play more mind games and attempt to make some reads. But hey, that's just me. I'm just glad the damage values are a bit better now. The game contracted Tekken 7 Season 3 syndrome where just 2 or 3 mistakes led to crazy damage and ending the fight in seconds. Just take a look at this clip from Truthseeker Vox. You can check out their YouTube channel in the description below. Dude has a mean Nusha. Then there's the feat nerfs and tweaks. I mean, I can't say that I'm upset that traps aren't annoying and Ki isn't annoying anymore, but if the devs didn't nerf Fire Flask or Spear Storm when the CCU first dropped, I don't see them addressing it at all going forward, and they're gonna remain in the same state forever. One thing most players can agree on is that the CCU put more emphasis on reading rather than reacting to your opponents. However, what most players can't agree on is whether or not that is healthy for the game. If you don't know the difference between the two, reacting is making decisions based on what is currently happening on screen, and reading is making a prediction on what will happen a move or two ahead of what is currently on screen right now, based on your opponent's character, playstyle, and patterns. The player base has always had conflicting opinions, especially so between PC and console players, and the CCU definitely just threw gasoline on the fire. Console players say it was already hard to defend before the CCU and now it's practically impossible, almost a guessing game. PC players were tired of staring contests before the CCU, and if I'm honest, I think the consensus is that on PC everyone's pretty happy with how things are after the patch. Damage values aside, playing For Honor on PC post-CCU did take a bit of getting used to, but the one thing I'm happy about is that no one's really afraid to throw out attacks anymore, which is great because I love throwing out attacks in my fighting game. I hopped on for some PS4 matches yesterday to see if console was really as bad as people said, and honestly, I can't really say it was. Maybe I got lucky that I fought players with good connections, and none of them were Highlanders because apparently most of the 25 million players are now, but I can't say I felt like console was in a horrendous state like everyone was saying. Maybe it's because I had extremely bad expectations going in because of everything that I read, but I don't think that console For Honor was in the state that people were making it out to be. And honestly, I don't see them reverting the CCU, especially just for consoles, anytime in the future. For the record, I also had fun on both PC and console when I was playing. I know that having fun while playing For Honor is apparently unheard of in this community, especially post-CCU, but honestly, you guys should try it. Understandably, the CCU has polarized the community, and again, I'm not trying to make this a console versus PC argument. I don't think players are better on one platform than the other, it's just very unfortunate that console players are limited by their hardware. Console players have to deal with less smooth animations at 30 frames per second, and upwards of 100 milliseconds of input latency, and probably many more Wi-Fi warriors. To be honest, there's no way to really solve this issue unless both console and PC run the game identically and everyone has the same experience. I mean, I do have an idea of what could happen. So the PS5 and the Xbox Sex are set to come out soon, and Ubisoft has already announced that Rainbow Six Siege will be a next-gen title, improving the frame rate and resolution. As of recording this, absolutely nothing has been officially announced about For Honor on next-gen consoles. I mean, I've read that almost all titles from this generation of consoles will still be playable on next-gen consoles, but I assume that's without performance or visual upgrades. It's almost like you're playing the, for example, PlayStation 4 version of a game on a PS5, whereas Rainbow Six Siege is going to be a PS5 and Xbox Series X and S title. You're not playing the previous gen version. Ubisoft has apparently said they would like cross-platform multiplayer for its PvP games. Based on that information, it sounds like Ubi still has plans to keep For Honor relevant going forward. I will be extremely shocked and disappointed if we learn that next-gen For Honor is literally just play the current console experience on a new console, and that the power of these newer and capable machines isn't taken advantage of. Ideally, it would be nice to see the game run at a smooth 60 frames per second, and reducing the input latency by as much as possible to finally make console For Honor comparable to how it performs and plays on PC. Doing this would eliminate so much of the disparity between the two player bases, and maybe even make balancing easier since you don't have to listen to two conflicting reports from players. But again, none of this has been announced, so all I can do is speculate. I have the unfortunate feeling that if there is no next-gen upgrade of any kind for Honor, it would mean to me that Ubisoft doesn't believe in the title, or they plan on replacing it sometime soon. One thing I know for sure that won't change going forward is the community. X-Hero will always be overpowered, light spam will always be unstoppable, yet people will simultaneously ask for a fast-attacking rapier hero, and for f***'s sakes, I always should have parried that. Thank you for watching. I know it's been quite a while since my last upload, but I was busy in real life getting married, moving, and getting a little puppy. Say hi to Riley, and for every like and share this video gets, give her a little belly rub. Shout out to my supporters on Patreon and YouTube, especially BioBalls and Isiah. I'm still working on that Fall Guys video, just in time for the new fad to be Among Us, and I'm sure I'll have an Among Us video out just in time for the next Colored Bean character game to be a hit. Have a good one, subscribe for more, and I will see you on the next video.